Before anything is seen in the outer world, it is first formed in the invisible realm. Energy comes before appearance. It is the subtle force, the unseen current, the inner state that eventually shapes what the eyes will witness. To understand this truth is to recognize that the physical body, the material possessions, the external identity, these are not the root, they are only the surface. The root lies in the energetic field, in the vibrations of thought, the movements of emotion, the stillness or turbulence of the inner world. When one thinks of appearance, the mind immediately moves toward form. What we look like, how we are perceived, the roles we play, and the image we project. But all of this is secondary because no appearance can sustain itself if the energy behind it is weak, misaligned, or fragmented. A calm face cannot hide restless energy. A confident posture cannot mask inner doubt for long. A smile cannot cover a heart filled with fear. Energy will always reveal itself, no matter what mask appearance tries to hold in place. This is why those who cultivate their inner energy need not worry about appearances. Their presence itself speaks louder than their form. When a person walks into a room, before a single word is spoken, before an expression is studied, the energy is already felt. People sense calmness, or they sense heaviness. They feel openness, or they feel tension. The body may try to cover it with gestures, clothes, or expressions, but energy cannot be silenced. It announces itself before the appearance has even had a chance to speak. Energy before appearance also explains why some people radiate without effort. They may not fit the conventional standards of beauty or power, yet their energy attracts, inspires, and uplifts. It is because the inner current they carry is aligned, grounded. On the other hand, there are those who work tirelessly to perfect their appearance, yet they remain unnoticed, unseen, and unremembered. This is because energy is absent, or scattered, or consumed by inner conflict. No external form can replace the vibrational field that precedes it. To cultivate energy before appearance requires a shift of focus. Instead of investing everything into how one looks, one begins to invest into how one feels, how one thinks, how one breathes. Breath itself is the most immediate doorway to energy. Shallow breath produces shallow energy. Restless breath produces restless energy. But deep, conscious breathing anchors energy, strengthens it, and allows it to move smoothly through the body. With such energy, appearance naturally transforms. The eyes shine differently, the posture straightens without force, the voice carries a different weight. Thought is also energy. Thoughts repeated become patterns, and patterns become the architecture of one's inner space. If those patterns are rooted in fear, judgment, or comparison, the energy produced will be heavy and distorted. The appearance that follows will reflect that heaviness. Even if the smile is practiced, the eyes will betray it. Even if the voice is trained, the tone will reveal it. But if thoughts are rooted in clarity, gratitude, and trust, the energy produced will be expansive and luminous. The appearance that follows will glow with ease, without effort. Emotion, too, is energy in motion. When emotions are suppressed, they stagnate. Stagnation creates blocks, and blocked energy distorts appearance. The body grows tense, the face hardens, the movements become rigid. When emotions are allowed to flow, to be felt, to be understood without attachment, the energy remains fluid and appearance becomes open, relaxed, and authentic. Energy unblocked becomes vitality, and vitality expresses itself in every gesture, every movement, every glance. Discipline of the mind and body further refines energy before appearance. The daily practice of stillness, the cultivation of silence, the training of attention, all these purify the field of energy. A mind that wanders endlessly leaks energy. A body that is neglected drains energy, but a mind that is trained, a body that is cared for, creates energy that is stable and strong. From this strength, appearance emerges naturally, not as a crafted image, but as the reflection of a deeper reality. When people misunderstand the order, when they prioritize appearance before energy, they live in a fragile state. Their sense of self depends on the eyes of others. Their confidence depends on external approval. They invest in appearances that may convince others for a while, but sooner or later, the truth of their energy shows through. This is why chasing appearance alone leads to exhaustion. The mask becomes heavier, and the effort to maintain it consumes more energy than it creates. But when one understands energy before appearance, life changes. The focus returns to the source. Energy is nourished, cultivated, and purified. Stillness is valued, silence is welcomed, and self-awareness becomes the foundation. From this foundation, appearance no longer needs to be forced. It is simply a natural outcome. The glow of vitality, the calmness of presence, the strength of clarity, these cannot be faked, they can only be lived. The unseen always shapes the seen. The roots determine the fruit, the foundation determines the structure, the energy determines the appearance. When you attend to what is not visible, what becomes visible will carry the weight of authenticity. The body, the face, the gestures, the words, all of them will reflect the energy that moves before them. In this way, the invisible becomes the most important because it is the cause and appearance is only the effect. When most people think of confidence, they imagine something grand. They picture someone standing in front of a large audience, speaking boldly, never stumbling on their words. They imagine a leader with a strong presence, someone who is fearless, decisive, and unshakable. But real confidence is not always loud, and it is not always dramatic. Often, it is hidden in the smallest of gestures, in the quiet actions that most overlook, but that carry the greatest weight. Confidence is not about the performance you show to the world, but about the silent agreement you have made within yourself. It begins in the smallest choices. The way you greet someone with steady eyes. The way you place your steps firmly on the ground instead of rushing without awareness. The way you breathe deeply before you respond instead of reacting impulsively. These are not big, flashy moments. They are subtle. But within them is a presence, and within that presence is the seed of true confidence. Why are small gestures so powerful? Because they are consistent. Grand actions are rare, they may happen once in a while, but they do not shape the everyday rhythm of life. Small gestures are constant. Every moment of the day gives you a chance to choose how you act, how you move, how you speak, and how you carry yourself. And when those small gestures carry intention, when they reflect awareness, they build a foundation so strong that it cannot be shaken by circumstance. Think of a tree. Its strength is not in its leaves or its flowers, those are temporary. Its strength lies in its roots, hidden beneath the soil, spreading silently, holding it steady against the storm. The roots are small, thin, fragile, looking compared to the trunk. But they multiply, they extend, and together they anchor the entire tree. In the same way, your confidence is not built on one extraordinary act, it is built on small, rooted gestures repeated day after day, anchoring you to yourself. There is confidence in the way you sit when your back is upright and your body does not collapse into itself. There is confidence in the way you listen when you give your full attention without the need to constantly interrupt. There is confidence in stillness when you are not restless, not fidgeting, but calm, composed, and grounded in the moment. These are not gestures others will always notice, but your body notices, your mind notices, and slowly, without needing to prove anything to anyone, you begin to radiate a presence that others feel. The small gestures are powerful because they belong entirely to you. No one can take them away. They are not dependent on applause or recognition or validation. They are not for performance, they are for alignment. And it is in this alignment that true confidence grows. Many chase confidence as if it is something external, something to be acquired or earned by achievements. They believe that if they gain enough status, enough money, or enough attention, confidence will naturally appear. But this is not confidence, it is dependence. Because the moment the status changes or the attention fades, so does the illusion of strength. True confidence does not need to be announced. It is quiet, stable, and deeply personal. And it begins with how you treat the smallest actions of your day. Consider how you wake up in the morning. Do you rise with intention, placing your feet firmly on the ground, taking a deep breath before beginning your day? Or do you rush, distracted, already overwhelmed by the demands ahead? That one moment seems small, but it sets the tone for everything that follows. Confidence begins there. It begins in the way you choose to inhabit your body, the way you give yourself permission to be present. Confidence is also revealed in the way you treat others, not in the grand gestures of generosity, but in the smallest ones. Holding the door open, offering a genuine smile, speaking with clarity instead of haste, listening fully when someone shares. Each of these is small, but each one carries weight. They show that you are not afraid of being seen and not afraid of giving your presence fully to the moment. When you start to value these gestures, you discover that confidence is not something you try to manufacture. It is not about forcing yourself to appear strong. Instead, it becomes something that grows naturally from within. the way a plant grows toward the light slowly, consistently, and without doubt. The danger many face is the belief that only big changes or dramatic displays will shift their lives. They wait for the perfect opportunity to prove themselves, the grand stage where they can finally feel confident. But the truth is that the stage is every day. The performance is in every step, every breath, every gesture you make. And the more conscious you are in those small moments, the more you begin to embody the quiet strength that others cannot help but notice. Confidence in small gestures is also a reminder of humility. You do not need to dominate, to outshine, to overpower. You simply need to be present, steady, and intentional. And that is enough. Because confidence is not about being bigger than others. It is about being rooted enough in yourself that you do not need to compare at all. When the small gestures become consistent, they reshape you. They reshape the way you walk into a room, the way you respond to challenges, the way you navigate uncertainty. Without forcing, without pretending, without struggle, confidence becomes your natural state. And all of this begins not with grand speeches, but with the smallest, quietest acts that no one may ever applaud. But that slowly transforms the way you see yourself and the way the world experiences you. Perfection is one of the greatest illusions that human beings chase. It is the pursuit of something that never truly exists, because perfection is always defined by external standards, cultural expectations, or shifting ideals that change over time. What is perfect today may be outdated tomorrow, and what is admired by one group may be rejected by another. This constant chase creates exhaustion, self-doubt, and a sense of never being enough. Yet beneath this layer of striving for perfection lies a deeper truth: authenticity. The moment one chooses authenticity over perfection, a profound shift begins to unfold within the self. Authenticity does not require approval, applause, or validation. It requires only courage, the courage to be real, to be imperfect, and to be aligned with one's truth. The human tendency to seek perfection often begins in childhood. From the earliest years, there is a subtle conditioning: behave this way, perform that way, achieve these results. Approval and praise are tied to performance, not presence. Over time, this creates a deep inner belief that one's worth is conditional. It is dependent on how well one conforms to the expectations of others. This belief becomes heavy, and individuals begin to build a mask, an external image carefully curated to appear flawless. But what is often forgotten is that a mask, no matter how polished, becomes suffocating. The longer one wears it, the more distant one becomes from the raw, unfiltered essence of who they really are. Authenticity is the act of removing this mask. It is the willingness to allow cracks to show, flaws to exist, and truth to emerge without fear of rejection. Authenticity is not about being careless or reckless. It is about honesty. It is the recognition that mistakes are not proof of failure, but evidence of growth. When a person lives authentically, they stop measuring their value against the impossible metric of perfection. Instead, they embrace the living reality of being human, which is filled with contradictions, lessons, and evolution. Perfection creates comparison, but authenticity creates connection. When one is authentic, they radiate something real that others can feel. Perfection may inspire admiration from a distance, but authenticity builds trust up close. People do not resonate with flawless facades, they resonate with vulnerability, with stories of struggle, with the raw truth of being. In the presence of authenticity, others feel permitted to be themselves. They no longer need to pretend or compete, because authenticity does not demand superiority. It invites equality. The pursuit of perfection also leads to paralysis. The fear of making mistakes prevents action, and the obsession with flawless results keeps many from even beginning. How many dreams remain unfulfilled because someone was waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect skill set, or the perfect circumstances? Authenticity, in contrast, frees one from this prison. It whispers that starting imperfectly is still better than never starting at all. It teaches that growth comes through experience, not from waiting for flawlessness. Authenticity is a form of liberation. It liberates the individual from the weight of comparison, from the constant noise of external judgment, and from the endless loop of self-criticism. Living authentically means reclaiming power over one's own life, because the source of value no longer lies outside but within. It is not about fitting into a mold, it is about breaking the mold entirely. It is not about seeking approval, it is about embodying truth. And when truth is embodied, life becomes lighter, clearer, and more aligned. Consider the energy spent on maintaining perfection. It drains creativity, silences intuition, and stiffens the natural flow of life. The attempt to appear flawless consumes time and energy that could instead be invested in authentic self-expression. The irony is that perfection does not invite peace. It creates anxiety. It keeps one constantly aware of flaws, always searching for what is missing, never satisfied with what already exists. Authenticity, however, allows peace to emerge naturally. It does not fight against imperfection. It accepts it as part of the whole. In authenticity, there is strength. To stand real in a world obsessed with appearances is an act of quiet power. It shows that worth is not negotiable, that value is not conditional, and that truth is stronger than image. This power is not loud or aggressive. It is calm, steady, and unshakable. It radiates not from what one does, but from who one is. Such strength inspires others, not by showing them a flawless model to imitate, but by showing them the freedom of being themselves. Authenticity is also deeply aligned with growth. While perfection suggests an end point, authenticity embraces the ongoing journey. It understands that growth is messy, non-linear, and unpredictable. Authenticity does not fear mistakes, because mistakes are signs of motion. They are evidence of trying, of stretching beyond the known. Perfection, on the other hand, sees mistakes as shameful, something to be hidden. But it is often in mistakes that wisdom is found, and in imperfection that beauty arises. When one embodies authenticity, relationships transform as well. They are no longer based on performance or expectations, but on presence and truth. The walls of pretense dissolve and deeper connections form. People feel safer, more seen, and more accepted. Authenticity, therefore, is not only a personal liberation, but a gift to others. It is a reminder that realness is enough, that imperfection is not a barrier, but a bridge. In the end, the question is not how perfectly one can live, but how truthfully one can live. Perfection is an endless chase, but authenticity is a return to the self, to honesty, to wholeness. It is the quiet courage to show up as one is, without hiding, without pretending, without striving for an illusion that was never attainable to begin with. A strength is often misunderstood. Many believe it is about force, volume, or domination. In a noisy world, strength is too often associated with the ability to outshout, outpace, or overpower others. Yet, the deepest form of strength does not need to announce itself. It does not require applause, recognition, or even acknowledgement. Silent strength is the presence that holds steady when the world shakes, the calm that remains when chaos demands reaction, the inner anchor that does not move even when the winds of life blow in every direction. Silent strength is not passive, but it is not loud. It is the quiet power that emerges when one no longer needs to prove, defend, or fight for their worth. To understand silent strength, we must first recognize the power of stillness. In stillness, everything becomes clear. A river that is disturbed cannot reflect the sky, but when it becomes calm, it mirrors the entire universe above it. In the same way, when the mind is restless, when emotions are turbulent, one cannot see clearly. But when inner silence is cultivated, strength is born, not the kind of strength that crushes, but the kind that endures. Silent strength is the mountain unmoved by the storm. It does not resist the storm, it simply remains because its foundation is deep. Most people confuse noise with effectiveness. They believe that to be heard, one must be loud. To be respected, one must be aggressive. To succeed, one must constantly push and force. But the truth is that the strongest forces in life often work silently. Think of gravity. It pulls everything towards the earth. Yet no sound accompanies its power. Think of the seed underground. It grows in silence before it ever breaks the soil. Think of the heart within the chest. It beats, sustaining life, but it does not need to announce itself. Silent strength is everywhere in nature, teaching us that the deepest powers do not need to be loud to transform reality. This kind of strength is cultivated when we release the need to react to everything. Life constantly presents provocations. Someone criticizes, someone doubts. Circumstances shift unexpectedly. The instinct may be to argue, to defend, to fight back. But true strength is knowing that reaction is not always required. The one who has mastered silent strength can listen without being shaken, can absorb the moment without spilling their peace, can act with precision instead of wasting energy in unnecessary battles. Silent strength is not weakness. It is not indifference. It is discipline, self-control, and awareness. Silent strength is also connected to endurance. Loud power may win a moment, but silent power sustains through time. Consider the tree that stands tall for hundreds of years. It does not rush, it does not compete, it does not constantly seek validation. It simply grows, rooted deeply, weathering every season without complaint. Human strength can mirror this. To endure hardship without breaking, to face suffering without losing compassion, to walk through uncertainty without collapsing into fear, that is silent strength. In silence, one also connects to clarity. So many people exhaust themselves by scattering energy through endless arguments, explanations, and confrontations. They want to be understood by everyone, approved of by everyone, and justified in every action. But true strength does not demand understanding from the outside world. It knows its truth within. The more silently one walks in their integrity, the more powerful their presence becomes. Others may not always understand, but silent strength does not need to be understood. It simply is. There is also a subtle beauty in silent strength. It is not dramatic. It does not draw attention. Yet, when others encounter it, they sense it immediately. A room becomes different when someone with silent strength enters. There is no need for them to dominate the space with words or gestures. Their stillness itself radiates authority, calm, and presence. This is the kind of strength that influences without force, that inspires without demanding, that uplifts without even speaking. Silent strength is not something that can be borrowed from others. It cannot be faked with appearances or gestures. It must be built from within through patience, discipline, and a deep relationship with the self. It grows each time one chooses not to be swayed by distractions, each time one chooses clarity over reaction, each time one chooses stillness over chaos. Over time, this becomes unshakable. Silent strength cannot be stolen because it does not depend on external approval. It cannot be destroyed because it is rooted in awareness. It does not fade with time because it is sustained by inner discipline. Many seek power through noise, but that power fades when the noise stops. Silent strength, however, remains. It grows even in solitude, especially in solitude. It becomes visible in the way one carries themselves, in the way they respond, in the way they hold their peace even when tested. Silent strength is the unspoken assurance that one is not controlled by the world, but instead is in control of oneself.